Hello, this is YouTube 31 Pockets, and I'd like to welcome everybody back to my part number 7 episode of the restoration and modification of a 1032 John Deere snowblower. Today's episode we're going to be getting into installing and working with the controls to make the snowblower operate smoothly. Basically, we're going to have to take our controls that the snowblower originally came with and then reinvent them, because the new engine that we are installing has a different height and different pulley sizes and different shaft sizes. So that'll be the first thing that we're going to go into today. So let's get going. Now, today's first thing that we're going to do is figure out how to get the sizes we need for our belts for our new custom engine and modification. And we'll be starting by using a simple piece of rope, and we're going to go into the next step, and so you can see. Now, this is one of the tricks we use to help us assure to find a proper size belt. We take large pieces of rope that just fit inside the pulleys, and then, as we can see, we tape them together so they're the right length. Once we get our general size on our belt, now we can take these ropes to one of our small engine part suppliers, and they can put these on a meter that tells how many inches of belt that we need for our project. Now, we did purchase 3 belts. The belt still in the package is a little bit bigger. It's about 1 inch bigger in length, and we didn't really need that one, so we can take that and return it. Our second step is going to be building and engineering limiters for our belt. Now, we need to take our belt and assign it to certain limits that it can expand and contract to allow the auger to engage and disengage properly and smoothly. And so that'll be our next thing that we're going to do, and is build our limiting system. Now, on our drive auger pulley, we've installed 5 limiters around the outside edge of the pulley to help keep the belt tension, and as the belt ages it becomes soft and will eventually fall down, and this upper part of the belt will touch the upper pulley that's on the engine and cause it to engage intermittently, and we don't want that to happen. So these guides are welded in. They're made out of soft 1/4 inch round stock, so we can bend them back to install the belt, and then we're going to tap each one of these guides back up closer to the pulley so the belt cannot fall down. Now we can see how tight that is. We want to have the limiters not touching the pulley, but also not allowing the belt to fall down. Now we're going to weld on a piece to put on a limiter on our belt guide, and we're going to have to make 2 welds. So here we go. Now that takes care of our belt. Okay, now we're getting to a part in the project where it's the most dangerous. So we're going to go over a little bit about safety before we continue. Now, it's very important that in a project like this, we fully understand what the devices do, our controls do, and our parts do, so there isn't any injuries in a project like this. When I was younger and was in my vocational schools, my shop teacher would start us out every day by telling us to do a finger count and make sure when we started our project we counted and had all our fingers, and at the end of the project when we were completed, make sure we did a recount and we were wearing all our fingers at the end of the day. So this part is extremely dangerous, and there is absolutely no reason to ever get your hands anywhere near any of these pulleys or idlers or control devices while the machine is on and running. Everything is to be adjusted and set while the engine's in the off position. So that's all. I mainly want to go over a few things on safety before we get going here on this part of the testing of this operation, because when people get hurt from lawn equipment and or construction equipment, it's because they don't fully understand what everything does. So that's what we're getting. Now, some of you may have seen my episode 2 where I removed this auger system from the deck, and I can tell you it weighs roughly between 75 and 85 pounds, and this 16 horsepower engine takes this auger system and twirls it like it's a feather. And although looks might be deceiving, it may look like a bunch of yellow feathers flying around inside the deck, but nevertheless this thing is nothing but serious danger, and anyone that attempts to or does a project like this must always think about safety being first. Okay, now we have our auger and our bushings all greased. Our pulleys and belts are all installed with our belt limiter and our devices to allow the machine to go into neutral on the auger on command. So we're going to test. This will be our first test to try it out. 7 is running a little into overtime and will continue into part number 8.